Good afternoon, YouTube. Shemale Ray George Page coming to you live on YouTube. Well, January is just about over. A few more days left, but life carries on and things happen. As you know, it was just a few days ago. Well, we had a pass of some legends. You know, the Hammer and Hank Aaron and the late Larry King passed away. Well, yesterday this was something that I saw. And another legend in the stage and screen has passed away, and that is Cloris Leachman. Now, if any of you who haven't seen her, me, I grew up with her throughout pretty much a good part of the 70s and the 80s, and some of you might have seen her a good part of the 90s and the 2000s. And she's just was an amazing actress. I mean, her repertoire of performances are just wow. I mean, and she has just she earned uh, just a bevy of nominations, including she had the most nominations for Emmys. She has the most wins with 8 wins in her entire career. She has won an Oscar. I mean, the awards and the nominations she has earned are just unphenomenal. I mean, just surpasses anything. So she passed away at home in her home in Ensenada yesterday. She was surrounded by her family. It was told on social media by her sons, one of her sons, and this is just sad news. Now Miss Leishman was born April of 30th, 1926 in Des Moines, Iowa, and she was the eldest of 3 daughters. Now her parents, her father worked as he owned his own lumber company, and her middle sister, Claiborne, was an actress and a singer, and her youngest sister, Mary, was not in the show business, but maternal grandmother, she was a Bohemian Czech descent, and she attended Theodore Roosevelt High School when she was young. As a teenager, she appeared in plays by local youth and weekends at the Drake University in Des Moines. Now, in 1946, she became a representative at the Miss America pageant for the state of Illinois. And that was she competed as a Miss American as a Miss America competitor back then. And back then, it's a pretty good thing for a young woman, And she didn't become Miss America, but that played her into a career into acting. So after that, she moved to New York later on, and she decided to, pursue her career after the pageant, and she, performed in Broadway, and she did plays for quite some time, and for a while. And in the 50s, that's when TV started growing, and then she did her first feature film was a thing called Carnegie Hall in 1947, but it was an uncredited role. So with all of her credits, I'm gonna just go with her movie stuff first. Now, her first movie was a movie called Kiss Me Deadly in 1955. Now, she had some other movies then, but her most notable movie was in 1969 with Robert Redford and Paul Newman, which she starred in Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. And then in 71, she was in Peter Bogdanovich's movie, The Last Picture Show, which she won her first Oscar as Best Supporting Actress. Now, she was in a series of she was in another movie called Dillinger, was about the outlaw John Dillinger. If you remember him, he was a famous outlaw back in the 30s. Don Dillinger, Bonnie and Clyde, a lot of those guys back then. And that was around about, I think it was 71 when she did that, 73, 71 when she did that movie. And then In '74, she met around '70. She met Mel Brooks, and she started one of a series of three Mel Brooks movies that she was known for, and one of them was Young Frankenstein with Eugene Wilder, Terry Garr, and the late Peter Boyle as Frankenstein. You remember that one? They did a little dance part. Her character was crazy. And also she was in another Mel Brooks movie, High Anxiety. And then she also was in the Muppet movie and several other movies, and also she later played another Mel Brooks movie in '81 called History of the World Part One. And then she did a voiceover for some animated stuff such as My Little Pony, the Gnome in the Garden, and also she even was Granny in the '93 Beverly Hillbillies movie. You remember? Some of you don't remember the old TV show, but I remember that one. This was the movie that was the remake of the old TV show. And also, she did voiceover for some movies like she was in Beavis and Butthead in '96. Beavis and Butthead Do America in '96. Then she was in the movie Iron Giant. She did some voiceover for that one. And she was in a couple of Adam Sandler movies such as Spanglish, The Longest Yard, which was the remake of a Burt Reynolds movie, Beer Fest, Sky High, and then she animated it for the voice of Grandma in The Groods in 2013, and then just last year in 2020, The Groods, The New Age. But really her niche was television, and she won a lot of Emmys for her supporting roles, and just the list on and on of her work in television. It just wow, you just I mean, I've seen this in many shows. Like if you go back from the '50s, like shows like Alfred Hitchcock Present, Gunsmoke, Lassie, Rawhide, Wanted Dead Alive, The Twilight Zone, Untouchables, Route 66, Wagon Train, Perry Mason, um, The Virginian, Maddox, that girl. And then 1970, where she finally got her own, she made a really, like back then, a lot of these actors back in those days just did a lot of different TV shows. They didn't really have a mainstay. Sometimes you might see the same actor in the same show every now and then, but she really hit her stride in 1970 when she met Mary Tyler Moore, and she started her series, the Mary Tyler Moore Show, as Phyllis Lindstrom from 1970 to 1975. And then she also had played that character in the spin-off series Rhoda in '74. But then she finally got her own series, Phyllis, from 75 to '70. And then she also did an episode of the Muppet Show. And then she also appeared on the Linda Carter series, Wonder Woman is Queen Heptipala. She was the mother of Wonder Woman. If you read the comics, that's Wonder Woman's mom. She also appeared on Love Boat, which is, was a star with her former co-star from the Mary Tyler Moore, Gavin McLeod, and also, just a whole bunch of shows. But around about '86, she took over when Charlotte Wade's character of Edna Garrett got married and replaced her as Beverly Ann, and she became the new star of the series Facts of Life from '86 to '88, and I think that's when the series ended after that. And she did some other stuff. She was on another series for NBC called Nut House with Harvey Korman, and that was a series that was produced by Mel Brooks, but the series didn't last long. And then she made some appearances on series like Simpsons and Touched by an Angel. And then she hit a stride in 2000, where she starred on the series Malcolm in the Middle, when she played the grandmother of the family. She was the mother of the character Lois. She was Grandma Ida, and she was cruel. Her character Robert Loggia was the parents of the character Lois in the series, and that's where I think she got her 8th Best Supporting Actress award. And she'd been on Family Guy, and she also did voices for series like Phineas and Ferb, and then also she was on the roast on the Comedy Central roast of Bob Saget. And then in 2008, she was on, Dancing with the Stars. And then she also on the show The Office for NBC. And she had a role on the series for um, Fox, Raising Hope. As you remember, there was a series about a teenage boy who was raising his daughter with his family, and she played Mama. She was the boy's great grandma. You know, and she even did voices for shows like Adventure Time, and also she was even on Bob's Burgers. I love that show. I love Bob's Burgers. And her last couple last appearances on TV shows was American Gods on Stars and the Mad About You reboot. But like I said, other than just being a award-winning actress, just a comic genius, she also was a wife and mother. She was married to her first husband, George England, from 1953 to 1979. And her and George were parents of five children, four boys and one girl. With the one, and with the only son, with the one the son Brian England dying in 1986. And like I said, she still has one or fewer friends, like her close friendship, especially with Betty White. They had that frenemy relationship, and her and Betty working since the Mary Tyler Moore show. And she was also did an episode of the series Hot in Cleveland with Betty in the past. But Cloris was an amazing actress, a genius, just one of those talents. I mean, just what she did in her time. I mean, over nearly 70 years in the business, and just it's just so sad just to hear that she's gone. She passed away at 94 years old, and she did so much in her life. Not just being just a award-winning actress, a comedian, she also was into PETA, and she's very just there's so much layers to her. I mean, and it's just unbelievable that which she did so much in her life, and just she leaves behind so many people that loved her, like her children, her grandchildren, her friends, and the rest of her family. Sad day to lose somebody like this, a legend and a great woman. Rest in peace, Miss Leachman. You did America well. It's your man on the Ray George page. Like, don't subscribe. I'm out.